I got the cliff notes here. Finally, they were posted, so I had to wait to talk about this. But I watched it live
Oh,
when I woke up this morning.
nice, nice.
I woke up literally 1 minute before I went live. I was like, oh shit, oh god.
Panic.
Panic. I was like, ah, fuck it, I just won't stream it. It's so much easier to try to like understand how I can like get like 3 different translations. Figure
Yeah,
out what's going
yeah.
on. And even that, it was a lot. This dude talked for like almost 2 hours by himself,
Nice.
trying to heal the game. But I guess one thing to start is that he's going to be becoming director of the game again. He's stepping down. He's demoting himself back down until things get fixed.
Oh, okay.
He's taking the director position again instead of being the 3 dudes. It'll be
Oh,
him.
right, right.
He'll be in charge again, and he's going to be CM at the same time. And he said that he'll be back every couple weeks to do live streams to talk, because he
Wow.
thinks that's what an actual director in charge of a game should do, especially when it needs, attention.
Right.
Actual
That's
Giga
cool.
Chad. But he said he said they want to change Chaos Dungeons and Guardian Raids. They want Chaos Dungeons to be even more casual and quicker, and Guardian Raids to be somewhere between that and weekly raiding content. They said they'll be doing temporary adjustments to Chaos Dungeons to make it faster. So whatever you can think of, like mobs spawn faster, load screens quicker, yada yada. Just make it quicker for now,
Nice.
right? And then until they fully revamp it, and that revamp will be talked about at the next low on, I guess. They want to review vertical progression across the whole game, I guess. So how everything works.
Mm.
Add in other avenues of progression other than Legion raids. They want to change Hell Guardians to be non-equalized, so that basically they want more places for you to express your character power and show your skill that isn't just equalized but is still fun. And so it's not locked behind rewards. There's only a certain eye level to get in. It's fun raids, right? Like you're doing a raid for fun. Imagine.
Oh, cool. Right. Strange.
Yeah. And then they also have they want to recycle old content, so they're going to find a way to make them relevant, redo them, yada yada, put them in more interesting ways. Super fun, right? Like Vault and Argos platform, things like that. Or sorry,
Yeah.
Argos on
Make
Vault and
make
platform.
them harder and stuff.
Yeah, just rehash content, use what they already had, but more fun
That would
raids.
that would make it quicker too to put content out because they wouldn't have to make new stuff.
Yeah, these things will be coming out along like in the months between big content releases. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You
huge.
mentioned they will probably make adjustments to the 6 character reward lockout eventually, but they have to talk about this more.
What does that mean?
So originally this game had no character lockout. You could play as many characters as you wanted a week and do as many raids for gold and things for gold as you could in a week. But that ran into an obvious problem.
Yeah.
So of bots. So they've locked it down to 6, but now he thinks that whole system needs to be revisited. So he said he would come back in a couple weeks with maybe some info on that.
Oh, wow.
Also, the thing with Guardian raids is they're thinking about making Guardian raids. His example was, so how we do week challenge Guardians 1 time per account per week, or three Guardians 1 time per week, and that's it.
Right.
That's across the whole roster. He thinks that his idea for Guardians was something like 3 Guardians per character per week, and they're like random with a bunch more reward. I think that sounds amazing.
That does sound amazing.
So, and then we got gear
Instead of Guardians, like instead of your
they're
2
just
a day.
Yeah, and they won't be daily content anymore. They'll get harder. They're going to revamp them. They'll get harder, but they'll be something that you only do 3 times a week.
Dude,
3 instances of entering per week, and that would be so much fun. That sounds like so much. I like Guardian raids. I just don't like doing them so much.
I know. Yeah, same.
So, gearing Third Awakening needs more time. So that'll be more at next low on. He also apologized for like 30 minutes about the censoring getting deployed, and he also elaborated on he actually described how the censor thing works and actually gave details like what they asked for censor, and he made it very clear that there is not they can't really make an excuse for why these things happen, but game dev hard basically. But he said that going forward, that there should be no more issues with the censorship hitting the thing. He also explained that yes, there were delays in content in every region because of Chinese version needing to be made. And he said that after August, that won't be a thing anymore.
Okay.
He said they've solved all the problems with that issue and that they're working tirelessly to make it so that by like after August, that every region will be working as intended again, and things will be fine. It's like, I guess, like, you just gotta. And he gave more details there, but like nobody, like, I mean, we don't really care about that. The Korean players care. I kind of care. I think it's interesting.
Right.
But a lot of people didn't, so it's whatever to some people. I think it's good though to get insight into them just being honest is just fine. I'm okay, like, just being honest about what the fuck's happening, and like skins will be back to normal and stuff for Korea and everything like that, starting as of like this month. They want to make adjustments to sets in general, and Gary build up character more interesting again. This is a follow-up to the comments by using the same set effects for multiple gear sets in a row. He noted entropy especially, because a lot of people were just, I guess maybe if you looked at Reddit, entropy is a big hot topic right now.
It's like, your 2 set, your back attacks do more. 3 set, your back attacks do more.
Well, everybody just think entropy is OP. No, they just think entropy is too OP.
Oh, it's not that it's just boring?
No, they just think entropy is too OP, because I guess maybe because it's so simple. You back attack, you do big damn. I don't know. I think it's fine, but a lot of people, especially in Korea, want it to be changed.
Sure, it just sounds boring. It just is boring.
I mean,
you know,
sets in MMOs usually aren't that interesting. I guess the other, I mean, like, I don't know. Hallucination is you hit the boss, you do more damage. It's just worded weirdly, but it's very simple. Right. It sounds more complicated than it is. And Dominion is you awaken, you do more damage, right? Like, they're not actually that interesting. Entropy is just, people just think entropy is OP. I think that they're wrong, but like, that's because I think a more casual.
Actually get behind the boss.
And entropy, it's just harder to play. Like, the whole design behind entropy is it's harder to play, so when you actually play it, you're supposed to get a damage reward.
Yeah.
But again, casual players don't like it, so again, they're a large chunk of the player base, so.
Because it's hard for them, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, they had so they want to make adjustments to gearing, and they also said they aren't going to work on a class change, but they're working on something very similar.
Class change?
Yeah, a lot of people want to, like, it's very dumb that we don't have a class change. Almost every MMO with large scale classes has class change, like 1-to-1 class change.
So like, I could take my artillerist and be a berserker instead?
Yeah. At the cost like insanely heavy monetary, or like, but they at least have the option, right? Right. So they're working on something very similar. He said they underlined this is very important.
Cool. That's interesting. That would be real neat.
He also, this is very important, he acknowledged specifically that the players in the middle of progression, the players that aren't at item level cap, that are like trying to gear in for ults in that area, that they need to vastly rework that and improve that experience. It needs to be faster. It needs to be better.
Sweet.
And he like basically double underline bold that shit. He was very clear.
Awesome. Yeah, that's super cool.
He said they'll be using Makokos less. So the whole Makoko theme for everything being all baby and stuff, baby Makoko, all cute and stuff like that, they're gonna drop that again. They're gonna back off, and they're gonna go back to in the world of Arcadia, like edgy demon.
Okay.
Some more interesting events and stuff other than just, oh my god, Makoko cuteness on a little raft or whatever,
Yeah.
Not as kiddie anymore. They're gonna go back to some more serious events, make it, mix it up a bit. They're like 2 years of the same events, he said, and people are getting tired of it.
Yeah.
And he briefly talked about Male Scrapper, and he said that while a lot of people didn't want it, that it from what they've tested so far and made of it, it is going to be insane. Apparently, it's going to be the most fun class, most interesting class.
Oh, I thought
they said it wasn't.
Had Male Scrapper. What is?
That's Striker. That's Male War Dancer.
Oh, it's War Dancer. Okay, I have no idea. Awesome.
Yeah. So they made Male Scrapper because they think it's going to be really good. So he said that's definitely going to be something to look forward to. They're going to be making skins more frequently. Because, they kind of slacked on it a little bit while the China was being made, and he realized that, so they're going to ramp it up again. Big production of skins. All the skins you could want.
Oh. Okay, cool. I didn't
the players want to spend more money on the game in Korea. I mean, they get skins every like 2 weeks there, or were. And like and they get more than we do. Like our skins are like, there's a reason you can look at any picture of the Korean server, like a screenshot of their town, and we only have a year worth of skins, whereas they've had 4. So
Okay, sure.
we need a lot more skins too.
Yeah.
A lot more skin dump. A lot more skins could be made. That is for sure.
Cool.
So they didn't. He said they didn't reuse. He confirmed because people were worried about this. They didn't reuse any animations or assets for Soul Eater. It's all completely original. And any ones that players did point out from the trailer and testing so far that did look similar, they're going to be completely reworking. He said they'll get right on that when he gets back in the office. And they also said that they're going to be redoing. So is Persnickety here? He's not here. So if you've seen the trailer for Soul Eater, they hold the scythe like an idiot. And they said they're going to be redoing that animation.
Cool.
Or at least in some cases, how they hold the weapon. Who knows?
Right. More good news.
Yeah. Yeah, she's basically, Soul Eater's getting a big overhaul. It's coming out in a week. I don't know. They got to really work fast here. They're going to redo the animations to make it look completely unique. Make it for sure unique. As they do it. Cool. He did acknowledge that the class needs to be unique. The hot deal controversy. So that thing we got a couple months, like 2 months back, where it was like that unique deal in the cash shop where you got something special if you bought it?
I don't
unique reward. That. It was with Rowan. Yeah, they did that thing in Korea and they didn't like it. It was bad, and it was bad here. So they're going to be retrying it again in Korea. And actually giving... Basically, people are okay spending money, but they want to feel like they're getting their money's worth.
Sure.
And they kind of got a slap in the face last time, so they're going to try it again. They're going to try. He says that they're really going to like this one, and for them, it's coming out in July, so I'm sure we'll get something like that, probably.
Okay.
In August or something. He said his health condition... He also talked about how he's in a lot better spot, although he's been stressing out recently because now he has to return to the director's seat. But I mean,
right.
The 3 bozos did not do a good job, so whatever.
Right. These guys are fucking it up. Stress.
Yeah. He also reiterated that after Thaymine, the next guy, Kazaros, the big bad, he is not a Legion raid. He is a new type of encounter that would be completely unique, not seen before.
Ooh.
That sounds fun. He also leaked. He also leaked what the next continent's boss will be, or he mentioned Echidna, which is the actual covetous Legion commander, or was until Vicus kicked her out, or basically backstabbed her. Yeah, she's the actual hotness.
The actual hotness. Okay.
Yeah. So something about her will be showing up in the next continent after Thaymine, so that's cool.
Neat.
Mentioned that they're also working on a bunch of quality of life improvements and also things like removing the DPS cut in Gauge 6 Brelsaza. That's hard to say. With stopping DPS, how it's annoying. I talked about it the other day.
Yes.
They're going to be removing that, and they're going to be not making mini mechanics like that ever again because they know that they're bad. And also that, so this is a really cool for me. I like this. So Algacia was an amazing story, right?
Yes.
Voldike was an amazing story. It gets better than Algacia. He said that the next story zones have had so much work put into them that they're going to be so much better than even those two. So I'm like, holy hell yeah. That sounds good.
That's cool. Hell yeah.
And then he just did a bunch of talking with the players. He was actually reading chat and shit and just actually being not being a robot stuck in a prison cell. Not being ChatGPT reading off a script for multiple. It was really good. It was a very good stream. It was good. I say that he saved the game kind of meaningly, but he actually made it very clear that they're going to try to fix the game. How many months this will take for Korea? I mean, you got to give them time, right? So he said that almost they're gonna try to fix everything and have even more of a festival for Winter Loan. So that's November, December. So that's 5-6 months for them, to get it fixed. Or to improve the game, but then for us, you can expect, add 3 months to a year to that.
Or to at least show progress, I guess, right? Not necessarily.
We'll probably get any of the Chaos Dungeon changes and stuff as quickly as they can get it out as Amazon, if they're, Amazon keeps wanting to be getting the W's out. Yeah, I don't know. The stream was really good. I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, for me at least, it's I'm going to keep playing the game here or there, right? But in terms of how much effort I'm going to put in until they really start to crank down on the daily stuff and improve. Right. It's going to be tough to keep up with it in the midst of other games.
Yeah, totally.
But for you, if you're going to keep playing the games, which you are, it sounds good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm basically most interested in, even more than their daily The system, I'm more interested in what they have to say about vertical progression and like catching up side characters and that
Yeah.
class swapping or something like it thing. Though to me, those are the most important.
Yeah, that's incredible. Those would be real cool.
Now, where did Persnickety go? He said BRB, but I don't know where he went. Thought he'd be back quicker.
Oof.
What? I'll keep talking about this stuff again if he comes back and has questions about it. From what we know, again, we didn't get any details. He said he'll be back in a couple weeks with details, so
Right.
I trust him. Trust the Goldriver. I'd only watched one of his VODs one time of him talking, but I understand why people say he's like their savior of the game. I get it. The way he is like an actual like genius at speaking. That's good.
Nice.
Puts a lot of other faces of games to shame, like D4 and stuff like Blizzard and stuff like that. But the way he like just like made things clear. Okay, Erno Plus, why are you so tanky?
Right.
The character doesn't work without Dominion. Literally didn't work at all. What do you? I think that also the set change thing is pretty interesting. What do you want to see from sets from? What's a more interesting set to you? Or what's the most interesting that we have right now?
I don't know, because it's like you said, right? I don't really pay attention to it. I put on what they tell me to put on because it's the best, and then I just do my normal shit.
Okay, so do you wish that there was just more options, like more actual more choices to on per build?
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, oof, oh, that Reaper.
Or like it was more clear on what the sets did
That's
rather than just you do more damage.
Yes, yeah. Their localization wording is still not the best.
Yeah.
I think that there should be a different set for head attack and back attack. That entropy shouldn't just be for both.
Yeah.
Especially with them, because I think the male scrapper is most likely going to be a head attack, which will be really cool.
Whoa, that would be so cool.
And I think that they should revamp entropy to actually make it like just revamp sets. I do think that they could to me, Dominion is the most interesting set because of the requirement of awakening and then just giving you cooldown and movement speed and stuff like that. I also think Nightmare is really cool too. The fact you get to bounce, you can utilize that the builds, there are two types of builds for it. Ones that want to be in Boundless and ones that want to be in not Boundless mode.
Oh, right. Yeah, totally.
But I think I think you can just make two separate sets and have them have different upsides because what you're doing I mean, it is a balancing act, but all you're doing really for a set that doesn't want to be in Boundless is just giving them a negative that they don't want.
Right.
You're just kind of restricting your design by putting these two things in one. Same with entropy, basically. And I get that they probably didn't want there to be 20 sets because there used to be. People didn't like it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So they did overhauls too, and I get it, but they kind of went too simple. And I think that it's fine if we graduated from those sets, right? If you had entropy so we have 8 sets right now, right? If you had the 8 sets until you get to Thaymine, and then Thaymine unlocks new sets, and it gets interesting again, right? Probably you'd have more breaks in there. Probably Vault and Vicus stuff is the entropy ones, and then Hard Brel is the break point, right? You move on to new sets or a con for sure. Hi, Persnickety. Welcome to the middle of me talking about Loa on and other things. Worm got here, and I honestly thought you were here, but I think you said BRB and had not come back yet, obviously.
I don't think they need to redesign any of the sets. I think the problem is that we have had, or especially in Korea, they've had Nightmare since Vulcan Vicus.
We've had the same set since Vault and Vicus, yeah.
Yeah. And that's just way too long. And so if I think the idea of getting a new set when you go to I I don't know. Belshazzar might be too early, but
I think a Khan or Kangol hard.
maybe one of them. Because I think the sets are fine. I think they're good for the most part. But I think that having the same one for so long is
What's bad about it?
not good. Because the idea behind sets is that you want them to change the way you play in some not significant way, but some minor way. And I think they accomplished that mostly. And like in WoW, for example, your sets are class specific and they'll modify a couple abilities. And ideally, they change how your character plays, give you some character power. And I think that idea of like borrowed power, I think is good, but we need to, or is good in limited degrees. And I think sets are a good source of borrowed power. And I think that the problem can arise when it just sticks around forever, and so you don't really feel like you're changing anything. And if we just got new, like they don't even have to graduate necessarily. They could just take out the old ones and put in new sets.
Yeah, which is what it says they're gonna do. Oh, I can read you the cliff notes of gearing here. So, because I didn't actually give you any details earlier, because I was waiting for like Worm or something else to come around and turn on the stream. We have in the topic of gearing. Oh, hold on. I need to make sure I have a potion on my bar. Fuck, I don't have pots. Hang on. Ah! We have so many battle items given to us, and I don't have any potions. What did somebody not call? What am I doing?
2.
Okay. Oh god. Oh, remove this shit though. I have to fucking switch engravings.
Oh shit.
Dominion. Back. Okay, I'm going. Anyway, so here's the gearing TLDR. Third Awakening and stuff like that wasn't ready, so more info about that will be Winter Loa on.
I don't know anything about a new awakening.
It's what I showed you that clip, Worm, where it does the limit break shit from like Final Fantasy with artillers. I showed you it. You pogged about it. Okay. You know it exists. It's where they like orbital nukes the screen.
Oh, right. Oh fuck, nice.
Anyway, so that'll be talked about at next level on. He said they want to make adjustments to sets in general to make gearing up and building characters interesting again, because he said it had gotten too boring and too samey.
Fuck, I missed him.
What? No, that wasn't him leaving. Oh. Now he leaves.
Well, no, yeah, but I mean, you have 30 seconds, so I still think I missed him.
Is it on cooldown still?
Yeah, 14 seconds.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, thanks. Me. I'll get the next one. Yeah.
So this is a follow-up to the comments saying using the same set effect for multiple gear sets in a row. Same, you know, the obvious complaint to have there. Also, in Korea, they think entropy is unbalanced. So, specifically entropy. I don't know. Talked about that, I don't think entropy is OP. I just think it's boring.
Yeah. It doesn't change your playstyle at all.
I mean, I think that the key is to just cycle through them. Like, it wouldn't matter if it was strong, if it wasn't something that you used forever. I think that, I mean, it raises more developing constraints, though, like of having to make new sets occasionally, but
I mean, they haven't.
I think that's required.
Yeah. And he said that he also feel like he's a player too, and he feels like it's gotten boring. So, They aren't. So I also said, yeah, they are. I told you that this earlier. They aren't going to work on a class change system, but something very similar. Because I mean, literally every other game with a large roster of classes has something like it. So.
Can you do that in WoW now?
WoW's catch-up is different. So, kind of, but no. You can just make a new class and have it be
At max level.
at max level, ready to do the new raid pretty quickly.
Okay.
So there isn't really a need to sacrifice one character to have it transfer over.
Okay.
You just make the new character.
And ready for max raid rather than like having to prog.
Right.
Through Argos again.
Right.
And you can do this anytime. You don't need to be in a Hyper Express, you know?
Right.
Wrong button. Okay, and then... Also, he did mention, this was a big thing that he mentioned. Holy shit, we fucking deleted that guy.
I was just gonna say, why is he not dead yet? I'm gonna get an extra rotation off, but no.
He very explicitly stated that they want to help. He knows the point when you're not at max item level. Every point from when you're like, basically, you could think of it as from the point you end the Power Pass or the Hyper Express to max item level, that gearing in there is bad. And they want to vastly improve the catch up and gearing of alts to make it not painful, just vastly speed it up. And this was apparently in the way he said it in Korean, double underline it, put it in bold.
Nice.
That's very important. They're going to be working on that fast.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's the most important thing. Like, to me, that's more important than any of the homework shit. I'll do the homework because I mean, you just have to do less of it if you just get there faster. Or if you, like, you know what I mean.
You got destruction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't mind me doing my Dominion thing again.
2 bombs. Just soul fist things.
Yeah, that was the gearing topics. He also, I guess I didn't tell Percy about this earlier, but the male scrapper is apparently going to be the coolest class. That's pretty
Makes
cool.
sense.
Probably going to be a head attacker too.
That would be
Take
really
it, Chad.
neat.
Yeah. And then lots more skins will be coming. Lots of skin. And hello, Ziach. Yeah, we're talking about Lost Ark. You figured that out, though.
Yeah, 5 minutes ago.
One of the things I think is
Fuck.
That was close.
one of the things I think is annoying or difficult or causes me distress in the game is that we have to have multiple layers of relevant, maybe not difficult content, but content that requires knowledge of mechanics and like it has the potential to be jail.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of layers of that, of like you have to do K-angle, like you have to have a knowledge of a lot of raids at one time. Like you have to know all of the K-angle mechanics, at least a few gates of Brel, all of the Vicus mechanics, all of the Volton mechanics, all of the Clown mechanics. It feels like there's a lot of like we're just spread too wide.
I don't have counter. Fuck.
I wasn't in position.
Okay, I can get this.
And so I fear that with a change to Guardians to make them more difficult. Like, we're just adding another layer of
fight knowledge that we need.
Right.
Well, the already Guardians right?
Well, they're going to be changing.
A little bit.
It'll be more difficult.
Yeah, so he put it into tiers: low tier, mid tier, and high tier content. And like Chaos Dungeons, Unas, and stuff like that are low tier, and the Guardians are currently low tier, and they'll be moving to mid tier. And things like the Challenge Guardians and stuff; those are what they consider to be mid tier.
I would classify Guardians as a tier above Chaos Dungeon. Like, Guardians require potions, they require... Like, you could fail a Guardian.
Yeah, I've seen Egg just this week.
Yeah, I'd kind of disagree with him on that point, but like in terms of like what the Korean player base thinks, the Korean player base seems to think the Guardians are pretty easy. Almost too easy. Especially, Sonavel is even easier than Hanu, and the Frog is even easier, because that's what people wanted. They were like, if it's gonna be daily, we want it to be easier, and that's fine. So they're going back the other direction, making it more weekly, but making it a little harder. And I think that's fine. I think Guardians could be a little bit harder if I only have to do them a couple times a week, because then I enjoy every entrance.
Right.
I am okay with piling on more.
Be...
I'm okay with piling on more of the middle and higher tier content. That's what this game's good at.
I don't know. Like, to me, having multiple potential jails per week is really tough.
I mean, that's why they're looking at the whole re-gearing and like progression, and also the 6 roster thing. Because like, yeah, if you're gonna have 6 characters, if the requirement's 6 characters for raid, I mean, might as well just change it to be. I think it's just a different standpoint. I think it's different between player to player. I also agree that I think that it's a little cringe how many points I can get jailed, but if I only had to get 3, if they just put all the like raw gold reward into a couple characters and the mat reward was in the others, I wouldn't feel as bad about it. Like, right, because you could just be like, okay, I'm out, right? Like, I'm done. And yep. I think that's what it is to most players. I think they're just like, okay, I'm out, I'm done, I'll just come back later. Or they won't come back. It's fine. Like, they're just like, I got jail gate 2. Whatever, man.
Whatever. Yep.
They're like, I'm just trying to chill, get the raid done. If I don't get it done, I don't get it done. And next like character. if you take the like super intense reward focused, like I need that raw gold feel away from it, like you just do what we did earlier on that raid and disconnect. Like, I don't, it's I ain't ashamed about it. No, we just logged to another character, next character. Like I'm to me, if the system of how raw gold's acquired and like the 6 character lock, if stuff like that is adjusted, I think I'm okay with. I think that the jailage system or the jailage feel will decrease too. I think that's a result of the current environment. But I mean,
yeah, like wiping in WoW, for example, doesn't feel as bad as wiping in Lost Ark.
Because you need the rewards in Lost Ark, yeah. So if he also, I forgot to mention, I didn't read that. That's in the line above it. He said that they want to add other progression ways other than Legion raids that get you the same spot. Which is also a big thing. But that's something that they need to talk about more, and isn't the info for that wasn't ready, so fair enough. I think just adding a system like that, a way around the Legion raid, other content that progresses you as far as the Legion raid, maybe not as quickly, but just if you can get to the same spot eventually, or if you don't need to do the Legion, like say Brel is too hard for you, or you just don't enjoy it, you should still be able to get to a con if you just play the game, do everything else in the game. There should hopefully be something else for you to do, but I think, like, I don't think you should have to do Brel to get a set to go to a con gear. I think there should just be a set of gear that you can have that you level up, and if you want to skip Brel completely and never clear it, you can skip Brel completely and never clear it. Because somebody's going to join the game, like a newer player in Korea, and the content's going to be past Brel, and they're going to not want to really probably do Brel. They're going to want to do a con, and the things they see more often their friends talk about. Their friends probably don't talk about Brel that much. They probably talk about a con, Voldyke, talking about Thaymine coming up. Like, they don't want to do the 4 content ago content.
Right.
They don't even want to think about it. And it's not easy. It's still hard. Especially where they're getting thrusted into, which is hard mode. So there should just be an equal way to gear up and to get around it. Like, that Argos gear change would have been it if you just didn't need to still get relic gear, so ancient gear. I think that's dumb. It should just be if you hone Argos gear to 20 and you're at 1580, it should go to 1580, not 1575. If you go to it should go to 1580 and you should be able to go to a con. There shouldn't be you shouldn't need to do Brel anymore.
Yeah.
And then
at least it's
keep
still
going
normal, right?
And keep going forward.
At least you don't have to do hard to get.
Yeah, but that feels even more pointless because then you're like, because you can still be jailed. It's just the mechanics are like it. I don't think you should ever have to be required to do something to move on, especially when there's other things in the game that you have to do every day, every week.
Right.
Those things should just give you enough rewards. Hell, I'm also of the opinion that a player that just sits around in the world just doing islands and doing the summer events and shit like that should be able to just do the new raid if they want.
Hey, that's me.
Well, you do a lot more stuff than that, Worm.
I know.
I think the one character, Andy, who logs in, does Chaos Dungeon, doesn't even do Guardian because it takes too long, too tough. Yep. Just logs in and does. I think these are different issues, right? I think that progressing a player like this and how hard in-game content is completely different. Like, these need to be completely different teams. Where like these are separate spheres, but they all end up at the same place right now because the game has one avenue. So they compound together, where they could be completely separate issues, which they should be, but because the game funnels you through one gear path, you get the problems of both ends. So it's like, and I think that is what they're allowed. Like, he was making it pretty clear that they know that, and he made it very clear that he plays the game. I mean, everybody knows he plays the game. You can see his logs. He plays the game, and he also feels like it's not in a good spot. So that's good. Yeah. That's a good acknowledgement.
How do you feel about the old raid gold nerfs? Like, wouldn't it be cool if I didn't have to do Brel if I could do Volton? Because I wanted to.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. There's an economic system to it. Like, there's a reason for the economy, and somebody smarter probably knows why it works. They don't complain about that in Korea because it seems to work.
Like the lower level raids, right? Like, if I'm bringing up a character through Volton, right? Nobody's doing Volton.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Why I don't understand why they're nerfing the gold, but because they're adding more raids to the game that give gold, they need. It's something about how the inflation goes crazy if they don't reduce the gold, because then people just make more. In Korea, at least, I know that one issue they have is people just make more and more alt accounts to farm the gold to sell the gold, and it just causes an inflation loop that goes crazy. This is only talking.
The problem is that you have to do Bolton and Vicus. And so the idea behind lowering the gold is that they want to push you into the later content, because it is good from the developer standpoint to try and consolidate the players into like one or fewer activities or fewer raids, because that'll make it to where it's a lot easier to find groups and whatnot if it is the correct thing to do Brel. But in order to have that be the case, they need to make it to where you don't have to do the other things, or else when they do go and nerf it, it does feel bad.
Yeah. So all I know is that from historical, like from how it's worked, how I know the result is every time they've nerfed gold on these lower raids as they release a new content in Korea, it reduces inflation by 40%. Basically every time they bump it up a tier, because it rises, then they nerf one of the lower raids when they add a new raid, and it's basically like it's what's keeping the economy in check for them. I don't know how that works, and it does feel lame. There's probably a better solution, but what they're doing is working, at least in terms of like the economy. Also,
Because
they are doing things like
still
removing
only
gold
get
cost.
rewards from 3.
Yeah, but they
Like,
have,
you know, even if I
yeah.
choose the lower
And
ones.
to go along with that, they also are, or to justify it, they're removing the gold on honing completely, right? Up until 1540 now for Korea.
Right. It
So
would just be cool if my artillerist could do Volton and not feel like I nerfed myself.
yeah, I mean, at least right now the disparity isn't that big. It's gonna be, a con gives like 10,000 gold raw. So
Okay.
if you do a con after the change, which I'm assuming it's going to launch with for us, it's 10k gold for completing a con, which is then like your Volton gives 3k.
Yeah, that's huge.
But like, you want to do a con. I get that. As a dev, like
Right.
said, you want your players to do a con. You want them to strive for a con. It just feels bad. I think that the other rate, like a con can give 10k, but I think that basically they should, I mean, it's weird for Brel. Brel is so much like, it should just be 2 gates. There are multiple problems here, again, working towards the same thing. But in terms of the time it takes to complete them, I think that Clown, Vicus, and Volton should all give the same gold right now for us. But they shouldn't be nerfed. They should all be 4.5k or whatever. But I mean, Clown's getting nerfed next month, so right.
Goodness gracious.
And then Brel, but they are buffing. They're doing the other. They're nerfing Clown, but buffing Brel and everything going forward. So I think they want to push the players forward. It solves inflation. So like, it's probably something that is actually needed that we just don't understand. Is what it seems to be. I think that the solution is to just you could do whatever you want with the gold at those raids, but please keep moving the no gold cost to hone up quickly, which hopefully their change to want to progress mid game players comes fast. I don't think it should cost gold until you're at the high. Like, I don't think it should cost gold. And I don't think there should be a chance to fail until you're at 1615 or not 16, whatever it is, 1580. I'm okay with my 1580 plus characters taking gold and having a low chance to hone. It could go from 100 to 1. I do not care. I think it should just be
able to get to that content.
Yeah, I think it should be no gold cost, and like, people will find ways to spend the gold. Trust me, especially with all the systems coming out for us that Korea already has. Like, they're getting the armor thing. They have elixirs. Like, people have places to spend their gold. Quality.
Well, that reminds me, with the elixir thing, this is prudent for Worm. Don't spend your rocks, Worm. Not that you do spend your rocks, but your rocks can be used for
stones, for elixirs, dust for elixirs.
Stone of Chaos?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I need a cube.
I wonder how many I have.
Unless they do something like in Korea, they didn't know that ahead of time, right? Like,
I mean, they told them when they announced it.
Yeah. Interesting though that we
stones. That's a lot.
I mean, they were all
like,
people in Korea have been done with quality for done forever, right?
Yeah, but if you were someone in the West that had like knew that was coming, you could be sitting on a very large pile of rock. So I wonder if they're going to balance it differently.
I mean,
the West.
People in Korea were sitting on average of like hundreds. They had the numbers for it at one time.
Yeah.
People were sitting on a lot of rocks because people have been done with quality. Like, I mean, they've had multiple years to do quality, right? To them, it's been their main characters have like all 95 plus, whereas like I can't even imagine tapping my characters right now. I need that gold too bad. I so much.
Yeah, same.
If it didn't cost gold to hone till 1580, I'd be quality tapping the shit out of my alts.
Yeah.
Also, that's another thing that would make the game a lot better if you could just, like, if
there
people
was a pity system.
No, not even that. It should be, but like, at least if you got what was I saying? I got derailed.
Gold cost?
If you could have the gold to be able to spend on quality, people would have more HP and raids would be easier.
True.
And more enjoyable for most people because they'd actually have the toughness.
Sure.
Gold room. Got some leapies and some gems.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, anyway, they mentioned other things like like I said, the Makoko event stuff going to be a different theme from now on, not just cutesy Makokos everywhere. I'm excited to see what they got for that. That sounds cool. Yeah. I'm also really excited to see like at least because I like watching it when it comes out in Korea, and hopefully we'll start getting it quicker too. The actual like zones for lore, I think that's really cool. Yeah, I think my idea of like I guess probably a shared idea between multiples at this point. The no cost to hone, no chance to fail, or whatever. Reduce cost, no chance to fail till on item level stuff is just even like would work even better because in my head, right, you get 1580. You got that nice glow on your weapon, right? You got like the just below the, the shiny plus 20 glow. Like people are gonna go for it, right? Like a player who's advancing the character is gonna go for it. I don't know. Makes character upgrading not pain. I'm hopeful that they have some ideas cooking. I'll be a little bit. I'll believe more. Like most people tonight, believe more what I heard. It was very convincing, but it could just all be lip service, right? Until they show something here in a couple weeks or whatever. So I have to wait and see for more.